musically musical teachers. Hopefully when you are seeing this, you are finally on summer break. I've been on summer break, me, since April 20th when my kid was born, but normally I would have been on summer break by the end of May. So I have been on summer break for at least a month. I know some of us might have been even just like a couple days. As of such, you're probably trying to get into the summer flow and reset and disconnect from school and all of the stress that we have as music teachers and teachers in general. But maybe you are struggling with burnout and you feel like you've already reached burnout and you feel like you don't even know how you're going to possibly handle going back into the classroom next year. Then this video is for you because I have been where you've been. I understand how stressful it is to be a music teacher and to feel like sometimes we're not even appreciated, we're not even seen, nobody cares about what we do, and even just teachers in general, it's really hard being a teacher. And so this video is here to help you figure out how to navigate teacher burnout. And so I have some tips and tricks of things that I have tried in order to help me be able to continue teaching and be happy about it. Because obviously I want you to feel happy about what you are doing. Because if you're not, there's no point in moving forward. So in this video, we're going to be talking all about how to navigate teacher burnout. And I've separated it into two different categories, into mental health tips and then just practical everyday logistical tips. And so we have 4 in each. And so we're just going to talk a little bit about each of them. And hopefully by the end of this video, if you feel like you are approaching burnout, or you're in the throes of burnout, or you're all the way past burnout, ready to just quit, that we can hopefully dial that back a little and help you figure out how to not be in such a state of ultimate sadness. Before we do that, if you're new around here, the name's Rainey Barden. I teach elementary music and middle school theater. I've been doing this for about 8 years now, and my whole goal of this channel is to help music teachers, instill a love and appreciation of music in the heart of every child, and we do that through lesson plans, tips, tricks, strategies, all different types of ideas. So if you're interested in that, please like and subscribe down below. It really helps my channel grow. You can also follow me on all of my social media channels. They're all Whimsically Musical Teacher. So make sure to check them out after this video. So like I said, we're going to be going into the different tips, and I have written them down on my phone so that I actually remember them and go in some sort of order. And I'm going to try not to dilly-dally and talk about these forever because I didn't write much more than just what the tip is. And I'm normally more prepared than this, but it's summer. We're going to go with it. Okay. So the first category that I mentioned was mental health ways. And so the first thing that I want you to think about is I want you to remember your why. I want you to remember why you started teaching, why you wanted to be a teacher, why you chose the subject that you decided to teach. If you did choose it, why you do what you do. And the reason that it's important to remember that, I actually would even encourage you to write out your why. You could even write out your why every morning if you wanted to as part of your journaling. If you are a journaler, I've started doing that more recently, especially during my burnout times, and it's been really helpful. But the reason that it's important is because sometimes you can get so upset and so caught up in all of the things that teachers get caught up in that by the end of the day you go, what am I even doing this for? Why am I suffering through this hardship? Why am I doing it? Why did I want to do it? And so just even taking some time to really journal out why you chose to be a teacher and why you're passionate about what you're teaching and why you want to be doing it and why you chose it can be really helpful, especially on those days when you're just I just can't. I really can't. And then you can read what you wrote and go, but that's why I'm doing it, because of XYZ. Now, of course, sometimes even just saying this is why I'm doing it does not equate if you're in a very bad situation. So if you're in a bad schooling situation, then get out of that. But if it's something that you can you have good days, you have bad days and things like that, then figure out what is your why, write it down, journal it if you have to, but look at that and remember it and store it somewhere where you can look at it, especially on those really rough days. I know I looked at mine a lot at my old school. I don't have to look at mine nearly as much at this new school. I'm very, very blessed in that regard. My second tip for you would be to reflect on the pros of the year. Reflect on your pros as a teacher. That means things like reflect on what went well. What went well in your classroom? What can you celebrate? What success or what achievements did your students succeed or have? Did you teach a really hard music concept in a really awesome way that solidified for your students? Did you see student growth? Did one student that couldn't sing a lick before be able to sing by the end of the year? What can you celebrate? Because it's all about celebrating the things that you have done well. I'm sure you can think very easily of all the things that you are not doing well in your classroom. However, that does not do anybody any good. So instead, you need to think about all of the positive things. I would even take some time to write down, even for this year, what went well this year? How can I celebrate myself? And then I want you to give yourself a celebration party. Whether that means you go out and buy the new book that you've been wanting. Maybe that's just what I want to do. Or you take yourself out to dinner, or whatever you do. You give yourself an hour to yourself. You give yourself a pedicure, a manicure. I don't care. Do something for yourself and celebrate, because you made it through the year. And that could even be your celebration. What you did well this year, you made it through the year and you didn't quit. So just think about it. Think about all the things that were positive. Don't think about the negatives. Of course, it's okay to reflect on like what could have gone better, but don't spiral and find yourself only sitting there in that place of negativity when we really should focus on the positives. The next tip I have for you is to have some sort of health routine, whether that means physical, like exercising, or just nutrition, or both. And I know physical exercise is not for everybody. However, I cannot say enough about the millions of like articles and stuff that I've read that says that like moving your body every day really is really important for your mental health and your sanity. However, I know some people are not going to work out, and if that's not you, I get it. It's fine. But I mean, I would recommend even just walking or something, do some sort of movement. But having our nutrition or our health, taking care of our bodies first, is extremely important, because if you're not taking care of your body, then you're going to be more exhausted, more lethargic, and your students are going to notice it, and you're going to be in more of a groggier and grumpier mood most of the time, and then you're going to take it out on your lessons, and then you're just going to have a more negative day from the jump. Now, I am great at the physical aspect of it because I work out all the time doing my circus and like all that other stuff, but I'm not very good at the nutrition aspect, especially since I've had a baby. Oh my gosh, my nutrition has gone to the wayside. But you know what? I see it, and I'm going to fix it. However, when I have eaten better, I have noticed a significant change in my energy, in how I show up, in just everything in general. I'm like a much different person when I eat healthy. So try to have some semblance of a health routine, whatever that looks like for you. And then my last tip in the mental health category is to please schedule in some self-care or personal time. And I feel like everyone and their mother says you need to have self-care, you need to have personal time. And you might hear me and go, yeah, I know, and then don't do anything about it. But if you don't get anything else from this video, this is what you need to get from this video. Please give yourself time. Give yourself some time. Whether that is just an hour to yourself. Maybe you're like, I have kids. How am I going to do that? You know how you do that? You make the hubby take them for an hour. You say, please, I need this hour for my mental sanity. I had to do that the other day because my little 2-month-old doesn't want to be put down ever. And my son is going through a really bad regression phase right now where he hates everything if I'm not giving him all of my attention. And so I had them from 6 to 2 while my husband was at work, and I was dying. And he came home and I said, I got to dip for an hour. And I dipped and I left, and my mental sanity was a lot better than it would have been had I stayed home. So whatever you need to do, but schedule it into the calendar if you can, because as I've said 500 million times before, if it's not in the calendar, it's not a priority, and it's not important, and it's not gonna happen. So if you want to actually make sure that you are taking care of yourself personally, schedule it in. Think of some stuff that you could do. Maybe you just read a book. Maybe you watch some YouTube videos. Maybe you binge TikTok if that's what you're about. I've just joined the TikTok community finally, and I can't stop looking at books that I want to continually purchase. But, you know, that's another problem for another day. Whatever it is that would be good for you, whether it's taking a bubble bath, going for a run if that's what you want to do, making your favorite food or getting your favorite food, whatever it is, indulge in yourself. If you can't do it daily, then try to do it a couple of times a week, because as long as you're taking care of yourself spiritually, mentally, physically, and all of that, you should be feeling a lot better when you go to work. But if you don't take care of yourself first, by the time you get to work, you're giving them like the fragmented pieces of yourself, and then it's just not going to do anybody any good at all. Okay, so we talked about the different mental health ones, and so now we're going to talk about the practical and logistical ways of what you could do. So my first tip is to leave school. At school. What do I mean by that? Do not take your work home with you to go grade. Do not stay until like 6 o'clock at night. Don't think about work all the time while you're at dinner, sitting with your kids, being like, oh, I need to do this. Oh, I need to do this. Oh, I forgot to lesson plan this. Oh, I forgot to copy and print this. Don't do that. If you really don't want to forget anything as you get home from school, or if you end up thinking of something while you're home, put it on a to-do list. I have a to-do list for school. I just type it on my phone. It goes on my to-do list. I don't think about it until I get to school. Now, I understand. Some of us might teach older students and you're like, okay, well, I have a lot of papers that I have to grade. Well, is there a way that you could schedule in some time during the day? If there's literally, quite possibly not, then I would choose one day a week that you're like, okay, this is the day that I stay late and I do X, Y, Z. However, the reason that I don't like staying past 4 o'clock when my school is over is because I'm not paid past 4, so I'm not going to be working past 4. And that's just my logic. And now I know that some people are like, well, what if I have all of this stuff to grade? And like, sometimes it's not your choice. Like, you know, like I'm talking about the stuff that you're assigning that you're not specifically given ramifications on. Make it fit within your schedule so that you're not having to stay late and you're able to not think about it at home. Because nobody wants to be thinking about their job 24/7. Even if you love your job, I don't want to be thinking about it 24/7. So please, leave school at school. The next thing is to plan ahead, specifically in your lessons, because if you are the type of person that is flying by the seat of your pants every single day, and maybe you have your lessons planned for like today, but you don't know what you're doing tomorrow, or maybe you have them planned for tomorrow, but you have no idea what you're doing next week, it's always good to plan ahead a little bit, just because when you are stressed out, what makes you more stressed as a teacher is when you don't have a plan, and then you're rushing to make the plan, and then the plan doesn't always go the way that they thought it was going to go. And it just turns into a dumpster fire. So if there's any way that you are able to plan ahead in your lessons, whether you batch a little bit, whether you even just get ahead a little bit, like even take the last 2 weeks of summer and just get ahead in your lesson plans. Like if you know that you do the same typical type of beginning lessons and like set those up and figure out your next month of lessons. That's what I plan on doing this year. I plan on getting ahead in my lessons because I was behind last year and I hated every second of my life. So how can you plan ahead and set yourself up well so that you don't even have to think about what you're teaching and add that to the pile of like stress, that burnout that we can get? Because if you can eliminate things to not make yourself so stressed out, you're gonna make it a lot easier on yourself in the long run. The next tip here would be to have systems in place for all different parts of your teaching life. And I mean, when do you make copies? You make copies at random times and remember, oh my gosh, in 5 minutes, I needed a copy for this and I forgot to make one. Or do you make copies every Monday for the week as soon as you get in? When do you lesson plan? Do you lesson plan during specific planning periods during the day? Do you get planning periods during the day? When are you lesson planning for the week? When are you creating materials? If you have to create any materials for your lessons, when are you doing that? When are you checking your emails? Which we have a separate email tip in just a minute. But when are you checking your emails? When are you scheduling parent conferences? When are you having parent conferences? When are you doing all of the different day-to-day tasks in your classroom? And do you have systems in place for it and routines in place for it? Because the more that you can nail all of that down, I know every Monday when I walk in, I'm going to make copies of all this stuff. And every Friday when I go home, I'm going to write down all of the stuff that I need to make copies for or make my to-do list for the next week. And at the end of every day, or at the beginning and end of every day, I'm going to check my email before I start work and after I start work, and I'm not going to check it any other times. Or during lunch, I'm going to actually take a break and not do any work. What are these systems that you can have in place? Because if you can make things, like I said, easier on yourself, you're going to be very happy that you did. And my last tip for you is specifically for email. Because if you are if you are like me, then you probably check your email all the time. And did you know, I read in an article somewhere that we spend 30% of every day checking our emails. That's insane. That's insane. But I also check my email 500 times a day, and I have gotten much better at that. You need to cut down on email checking. You need to check it once in the morning before you start work and once before you head out. And that is it. And don't respond to any emails after you get home. If you get an email from a parent at 5 and your workday ended at 4, you email them the very next day. And if you don't want to have to explain yourself every single time saying, oh, I don't respond to emails after so-and-so, then you put in your email signature, which I did. My work hours, blank to blank. I will only respond between the hours of blank to blank, Monday through Friday. And that is when you respond. And yeah, people are going to get annoyed by that. But you know what? They need to honor their time. Would you expect them, if you texted them at 6 o'clock at night after they left their job, for them to just drop everything and email you back or text you back? No, you would not expect that. So it's not okay for them to expect that from you. So check your email once during the morning, once at night, and only respond in between those hours, because we need to spend way less time in our inboxes. We really do. And plus, I don't enjoy looking in my inbox most of the time, because then I see like emails that I don't want to deal with at the moment. Don't make it harder and more stressful on yourself. And so I'm sure that there are a bunch more tips that I could give, but those are my main ones. So I really hope that this video is helpful for you and that you are able to find some tips and tricks that you can use so that you can start to feel less stressed, because I don't want you to feel stressed. I want you to feel excited about going back to the classroom whenever you have to go back. But don't feel excited about it right now. Don't really think about it right now. Take a break. You deserve it. But I have an exciting announcement that I'm going to make right now, and this announcement is time sensitive, so if you are watching this when this video comes out up to like the next 2 to 3 weeks after, then this pertains to you. If you are watching this at some other point, then you can skip past this. I will have tagged it down below because it does not, or timestamped it down below because it does not pertain to you. But if you are tired of feeling like all you do is lesson plan, and you're ready to try something new to serve your students in a more meaningful way, and you're ready to add some new tools to your elementary music teacher toolbox, then it is time to increase your impact in the elementary music classroom and have the most successful year yet without adding more to your already too full plate. How can you do that? By attending the Elementary Music Teacher Summit. It is a 5-day summit full of valuable information. I'm very excited to be a part of it this year. It is completely free to the public. Of course, there is an all-access pass that you can update to, which if you upgrade to, and if you do, then you get every presenter that is presenting, like you get their session for free already within those 5 days. You have to watch it within those 5 days. But I think if you get the all-access pass afterwards, then you get access to all of their videos for the next year, and each one of us has created an extra freebie that you get that is like in the all access vault, and only the people that have upgraded get those extra freebies. And so my session is going to be on Folk Dancing 101. Now, I did have a video on Folk Dancing 101, but I'm going way more in depth. Like, this is a much longer discussion. We are going to have a lot more tips, a lot more tricks, a lot more like down in the like trenches of like folk dancing. And that is not the only thing that is there. There are sessions on inclusivity in the music room. There are ones on centers. There are ones, I mean, there's just different from all amazing music educators that I absolutely love and I'm inspired by each and every single day. So if you are interested in attending the Elementary Music Teacher Summit, it's running from July 10th to July 14th. It's even on my birthday because my birthday is July 12th, and it is going to be absolutely fabulous. I will have a link in the description down below if you want to go sign up. Remember, it is totally for free. You do not have to get the all access pass. However, I highly encourage it. I have a really great freebie in there, a music teacher planner, and there are a bunch of other amazing things in there. All right. That's the end of the time-sensitive announcement. So I hope this was helpful for you. Please comment down below. Let me know how you're feeling this year. What is something that you can do? Actually, leave down below in the comments one thing that you can do for self-care for yourself, because I want to get some more self-care ideas. And with that, guys, I'll see you in the next video. Bye.